The predator that survived the Xenomorph Homeworld alone. In this video we'll explore the Hive Wars Predator, who was originally a figure designed for NECA Toys and Kenner that ended up becoming part of the comic book series Predator Life and Death. As I've covered in previous videos, Xenomorph Prime is one of the deadliest worlds in the entire galaxy, covered in xenomorph hives and littered with alien species even more menacing than the bugs themselves. The Hive Wars Predator became legend for surviving his crucible on the planet. After his tribe was killed during a reckless hunt, he was left with nothing but a damaged ship and personal supplies. Over the years he proved resourceful though, creating new weapons out of his ship's wreckage and whatever he could scavenge on the planet. For once, the hunter became the hunted, living amongst his enemy in isolation. For years he had hoped for rescue, but soon came to realize this was the greatest calling a Yautja could ever hope for. During his time on the desolate planet, he likely accumulated some of the most xenomorph kills of any lone predator, having clashed with multiple hives of warriors. Following his time on Xenomorph Prime, the hunter was finally reunited with a new tribe of Yautja under the leadership of Cracked Tusk. This tribe made way for Tartarus LV-797 during the events of Life and Death, and discovered an engineer juggernaut on the surface of the planet. The tribe wanted the secrets of the engineers for themselves and set up a patrol to guard the ship against any intruders, which included the Seegson Corporation and the Colonial Marines. When the Colonial Marines in orbit around the planet lost communications with the Seegson expedition team, the combat ship Hasdrubal deployed 31 Marines to investigate. It was there while exploring the surface of the world, Tartarus, that the Marines stumbled across the Juggernaut for themselves and an enemy that they've never faced before. The Hive Wars Predator faced the Marines alone and killed several before succumbing to wounds he received from a smart gun burst. Before his death, however, he smiled defiantly at the Marine who stood over him while his comrades moved into position. This encounter led the Colonial Marines to realize just how dangerous the Yautja were. The Hive Wars Predator was equipped with some of the most unique weaponry among his fellow Yautja. He wore a biomask resembling the city hunters, but with a blackish coloration and more skeletal appearance, somewhat resembling the xenomorphs that he hunted on their home planet. He also wore minimal tattered armor around his chest, similar to the jungle hunter. What's most interesting though is that his primary weapon of choice was a scythe-like staff, likely crafted on a Xenomorph Prime. Obviously in Predator culture, hunting xenomorphs is of their most sacred prize, as it is actually part of their ranking system to become blooded after killing a xenomorph successfully. So you can imagine that the Hive Wars Predator was held in high regard amongst his fellow hunters. What do you guys think about the story? Would you like to see the Hive Wars Predator feature in other media? Like I said, if you want to check this guy out, you can read the comic series Predator Life and Death, as he is featured in the storyline, and he's also a figure part of NECA Toys and Kenner. For more updates on the Predator and everything pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.